This had a big hit earlier using the Sparrow 6000. Oh, something just took a whack at it. Didn't hook up, but something took a whack at it. The MATZUO thorn, these are sickle hooks also. Notice you have the sickles on the back that'll help hold the bait or grubs that you use. And they are factory offset. Look at that. If you look straight up and down, the point is offset, so that will make for better hookup. And as you can see there, the eye is also offset, so the straight is at an offset angle, which will also help create a better hookup. The O'Doul style is one of my favorite styles for shallow reefs. And the reason being is you look at the way the shank is, look at the tip. The tip of the hook is bent towards the shank inwards. Now that means this will bounce off the bottom with less chance of it hitting and catching on the reef. For this, I use a lot of the style O'Douls for whipping in shallow waters, shallow reefs. By far, this is one of the best, if not the best, for shallow water whipping. Plus, they are not factory offset. I prefer this for shallow bottoms because I want it to bounce off the bottom. I've never once had an O'Doul hook catch the reef, so that says it all. I think one of the things I'm gonna need is band-aids when I get back. God, it hurts. The Maruto brand is okay for light game like fish, maybe in a couple pound range, but because the hooks are pliable and they're very thin, I wouldn't use it for anything larger. I started off with these for a smaller game, but I found out that they will bend out with bigger game. But for the beginners, it's good. It's good for a smaller species, but I wouldn't go more than 5 pounds on this. As I mentioned before, the Eagle Claw brand of the bait holder hooks, these are the smaller ones. They're okay for smaller species. I'll stick with a smaller species, but fish over 10 pounds probably would not stand up to them. The Kamagatsu light bait hook, these are the light wire hooks. These are absolutely great. Okay, these are about medium wire thickness. I really like these. They're factory offset, so when I put the grub on them, they will have a tendency to whip back and forth because there's no sickles. You can't hold it on the shank, but if you put the the hook, so it's at the very bottom, like right here. It, instead of going straight like the ones with the sickles on the barbs, because you're putting the grub right here, it'll wiggle back and forth on the retrieve. I really like these. These are very, very strong hooks. I highly recommend these. The MATZUO sickle hooks are great. Look at that. These are factory offset. Which means is that it was offset at the factory, so it will increase your hookups. You're going to get a better hookup out of this. And as you notice over here, the sickles on it. So when you put a bait or rub on it, it'll hold. So it will give you a nice, smooth, even presentation. The MATZUO sickles have the sickles over here. They help hold the bait or the grubs in. What I don't like about this type of hook is that bend right there. On a really big hit, which I assume was a GT or a larger size trevally under 10 pounds, it snapped right there. That is a area that I'm concerned about because it is a very narrow shank. So I would say that even though I love this hook, it's factory offset with the offset eye. I think it's only good for fish that are 10 pounds and under, but that's my assessment. Okay, the mosquito hooks are great. I have no problems with these either, but because they're thin wire and the way they are, this is great for the smallest species. Less chance for the smallest species to make out the hook. Nothing wrong with these. I would recommend them if you're going for smaller species. The owner all-purpose hooks, they're great hooks. Couple things about these hooks are strange. The shank towards the eye is bent. It's strange because it's in the shank. Normally the shank is straight. This one actually has a bend to it. I don't know if I like that or not. The factory offsetting itself is more than what I would normally go with because it's an easier hookup, but the fish have an easier time to spin off. So far, I haven't lost anything with this yet, but I'm very leery about it because it's different. Okay. Let me show you. I don't know if you can see this, but okay. Of course, you got the bend right here for the eye, but right here, the shank itself is bent, which is very unusual. I'm not sure if I like that. But for smaller game, it's okay. These are the Paxaba hooks, number 4, 26 millimeters. This has a straighter shank, straighter eye on it, no bend to it. It is factory offset, and I would say this is a pretty darn good hook coming from China. One of the few that I actually like. These are Eagle Claw Paxaba bait holder hooks. Again, they have the sickles on the shank. They are factory offset. For smaller game, this is actually not a bad hook again. These are Eagle Claw Paxipal bait holder hooks. They're made in China. Actually, I'm okay with these. I have some more assorted Paxipal hooks from China. These have the sickles on the shanks, factory offset, but I prefer the shorter ones. They're a lot sturdier. These long ones here, I've tried them. They have a tendency to snap on a bigger hit of 10-pound fishes of 10 pounds or more. So I would stay away from the longer shank ones like these. These are about 1.5 inches. I wouldn't use these. Well, not anymore. I love these trapper hooks. This is the 1/0, otherwise known as 1/0. That unique bend has proven itself on a couple outings. Easy to take off with no pliers from the fish. It doesn't brain the fish or cut into the gills. It immediately hooks into the mouth. Easy hooking, easy release. It has an offset eyelet, so for a better hookup. Even though it's a skinnier diameter shank, I would say it's a pretty damn good hook. It's one of the better ones I've used. Highly recommend this one. Yeah, some big hoggers.